right, so a few weeks now in Edmonton for yourself. Just talk about getting adjusted to the new team and the new system you're in.
I think I'm pretty adjusted now, just kind of getting into the rhythm of things with me and Ante switching rotations and stuff like that. So I've kind of integrated in, and it's a good feeling.
What's the relationship been like with Ante? He seems like a really easygoing
Oh, he's
guy.
he's a great guy. I love Ante, man. He's a cool guy to have in the locker room, especially position meeting. He cares a lot about football. He's prepared. He's a good teammate.
You're heading out east, taking on an Ottawa team that you would be familiar enough with, I guess,
Yes,
from your
sir.
time in Hamilton. What do you know about this group, and what have you seen on film from them?
I know they have a good receiving core. I think we're just going to need to play some solid penalty-free football, get some rushing yards in, limit mistakes, and take care of the football.
I know that's been a big focus for this team, and obviously for yourself in particular, is trying to take advantage of the rushing opportunities when you get them. How do you feel like you've been able to produce on those opportunities when they're there?
Yeah, give or take. I've definitely missed a hole or two, but it's part of the game. You can't. You come in next week and try to make those corrections. So I'm looking forward to getting an opportunity this week to play.
Being as a part of the rotation, how has that been over the course of your career in terms of, I guess, what you experienced in college at Ohio, that sort of thing?
I'd say
versus
it's pretty similar, actually. I did in college. We did me and my buddy AJ Olette, who's played at Toronto. We did a rotation. So I like the rotation because you stay a little fresher. So you go a couple series on, a couple series off. When you're playing the whole game, it's kind of, you get beat up a little, banged up a little. It's hard to play at like 90, 100%,
I got you. What's it been like in the huddle with Taylor Cornelius since you've been here?
It's great. He knows what he's doing. He's informative, helps me if I got questions. If I'm unsure, I just ask him. He's a good leader, good quarterback.
You're watching a former college teammate of yours just tear up the league right now, I guess, and Nathan Rourke, a former Upcat as well. And just what can you say from your own perspective?
He was a dog in college, man. I'm not surprised. He has good work ethic. He cares a lot about the game. I'm not surprised. He was a dog in college. I'm happy for him.
Both a couple of BC products as well, right?
I'm
what does it mean
for
you to put on for Chilliwack each and every week?
I play for my family. I play for myself. So I look forward to being able to represent BC from college to the pros now. It's a good feeling.
Good stuff. All right, thanks, Malik. I
appreciate you, boys.
Cheers, man.
Taylor, I've been covering this team and this league for a long time now, and I don't know that I've seen a guy fling it quite like you can. But what's really impressed me this year is your running ability. Was that part of your game back in college?
Yeah, it definitely was. I was a little heavier back then too, so we implemented that, especially like in the red zone and short yardage and goal line situations, stuff like that. Just quarterback powers and stuff like that back in the day, but it hasn't been for a while.
So you found your comfort zone when it comes to running ability. How does that help set you up as a passer?
Sure, I think if eventually if they've have to take something out of their defense to stop me running the football, then that's just one less guy in the secondary to cover our receivers.
There's been a lot of changes with this team and on offense throughout the season so far. You guys look like you're finding your rhythm finally. What about you?
Definitely. Getting more comfortable each game. I felt good, even in the Montreal game, getting back out there for the first one. But definitely getting a rhythm and feeling good about where we're headed.
Ottawa's a team kind of in a similar situation as you guys. Not a very good record, but probably a better team. What are
Absolutely.
you expecting on this Friday game and in this home and home?
Yeah, like you said, they're a good football team. They've played everybody close. Obviously, taking Winnipeg, to the wire there at the beginning of the year. They're good. They're good up front. They've got some players in the secondary with Money Hunter and Levels that can make some big time plays and have been around for a while.
I just wonder about your training and maybe even changing up the body composition a little bit to make yourself more of a mobile quarterback between the time you left Oklahoma State and now.
As in,
has it happened naturally? Has it been something you focused on to get yourself to be a little more of a runner, or
no? I ran the ball in college all the time, so it really wasn't any big change for me running the ball.
What about the big arm? When did you discover that you could throw the ball? Did you play baseball or anything like that?
Yeah, I played baseball, football. I was a pitcher, so got to do that. But just small town kid, got to play every sport, and so it was a lot of fun getting out there and doing all those things.
So were all the guys saying, "Hey, Taylor, throw a 70-yarder"?
Before warm-ups and stuff like that, just getting to do long toss for a little while, and just kind of a natural thing. Never really, I guess I worked on it, but it was just something that came natural more than anything.
What is it that you need to take care of as a quarterback when it comes to your passing game? There's so many types of passes. You got to throw with touch, you got to throw with air, you got to throw bullets. Is that also part of kind of finding your game too?
Yeah, absolutely. Just know when to make certain throws and when to fit something into a tight window and when not to. Last week, can't turn the ball over down there with a couple minutes left in the game. In this league, there's a lot of time left with 3 minutes still left on the clock.
Okay, thanks. Good luck Friday.
Yep, no problem. Thank you, guys.
All right, so a couple of weeks for you in the starting lineup, Chris. Just talk about how it's felt getting some run out there with the ones.
Yeah, it's felt good, right? And that's kind of what you dream of growing up. You want to be a professional football player. Like, you want to be a starter. You want to try to impact the game as much as you can. So just being out there, getting my feet wet, it's been an enjoyable experience, but now it's just trying to make a larger impact.
Obviously a very veteran receiver room around you. What is it like trying to keep yourself engaged when a lot of the targets may be headed towards Kenny or Darrell, for example?
I mean, that's part of the process, right? And like, you can look at it that way in regards to not getting as many targets. For me, it's more of a learning experience, right? I'm blessed to have guys like D-Walk, Manny, Kenny in the room. Guys have been there, done that, who have done pretty much everything. So when I could sit back and learn from them and they take a lot of the defense away and I can kind of just take what's given to me, I'm okay with that.
Talk about learning from guys like Manny Arsenault. Anytime we hear him talk, he seems like he's just got so much to offer. A young guy like yourself, him and Kenny and Darrell again.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it, right? And you learn a lot from all three of them. Manny, you really learn how to be a professional, right? How to go about it, how to put your best foot forward. With Kenny, it's just the consistency, right? Like Kenny's a guy who every defense knows he's going to get the ball, and he still manages to produce every week. And with D-Walk's a guy that's always in my ear, right? He's done everything. He's been there. So that's he's a great leader. He's been in my ear just trying to get me to be a better receiver. So, again, being in a room like this, I couldn't ask for more.
Talk about Taylor Cornelius and forming this relationship with him while he's getting you in and out of the huddle each week.
Yeah, Taylor's been great, and I've been working with Taylor because I was started out with the C team, right? So we've kind of been working our way up together. Even last year, we'd be throw after practice, so we kind of have a bit of a feel for each other already, which has been great. And now it's just a matter of executing on the field and letting the world see it.
Before we talk about your off-season, or rather off-field activities, I do want to get a thought on Ottawa. Of course, you're from Brampton, so I guess not too far away from there. But you're heading back out east, a place where you've won a couple of games, the only place where you guys have won the games this season. So this has got to be a big week for you, especially in the front half of a doubleheader.
Yeah, exactly. And just like every week, our mindset really is the same, right? Try to go 1-0, whether that's the East, West, the South, if they want it to be, like whoever it is, we just want to go 1-0. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a big week. We kind of want to right the ship a little bit, get back on track. But yeah, being out East, of course, we've had success there. So definitely looking forward to the opportunity.
All right. So you officially graduated law school over the course of this season. Is that correct? Over the bye week?
Yeah. So I graduated before this season started. Yeah. So I just finished my third year. Yeah.
So talk to me about working that in as with the schedule as a football player. I'm sure most people would agree. Like that's a full-time job enough. Yeah. But my girlfriend's a law student or a lawyer now, so I've seen what the work is like on that end of things too. I can only imagine what you went through to pursue all of this.
Yeah. It was definitely tough, but I think for me, I just had two passions, right? Like I definitely have a passion for football. I definitely have a passion for the law. So just after practices and things like that, I would find time to get in my books a little bit, make sure I'm ready to get for an exam and things like that. And it happened to work out timing-wise, whether it was like the COVID season or the exam period being after the season. So it worked out timing-wise, but again, just kind of like staying on top of it, being in lectures after, it kind of brought me back to university, right? Being a student athlete and whatnot, but managed to make it work.
So what prompted the passion for the legal field?
To be honest, it goes back a while ago. I remember I was doing I went to Queen's University. There was an extracurricular called Queen's Model Parliament. And I remember we actually went to Ottawa where we were members of the House of Commons, and we actually like sat in the House of Commons and acted like we were MPs. And I think from that moment on, I just saw myself in a different light in terms of what I could do after football, right? And I kind of started preparing for that maybe a little bit earlier than some other guys. And I think as I figured out different passions for things, that was just one of the experiences for me that I thought, okay, maybe I can go to law school. And I don't know if I want to be an MP necessarily, but I do know that law was definitely a good path to give me some options to go moving forward.
So did you ever find yourself in a position where you were deciding whether to study the playbook or the textbook?
No, fortunately, no. I've been pretty good with time management and managing my time. And I think it's kind of like marginal utility, the law of diminishing returns. You really can only study something for so long until you start losing some of that information. So for me, like once I feel good in the playbook, then I'll tap into the law textbook. Once I feel good in the law, then I'll tap into a playbook. So it's been a bit of a balancing act, but trying to make it work.
If you can tell me a couple of things you think will help right the ship here for the Edmonton Elks as you've entered the second half of the season now, what do you see?
I think simply we just got to execute, right? I think we got all the pieces. We've got a bunch of talent, and we can put our roster up with any roster in the league, and I think we're happy with that. I think it's just a matter of execution. Offense, we got to do a better job of executing the red zone, putting more points up, and we just got to be a little bit more disciplined, right? Penalties will kill you in this game. It's hard enough to beat other teams, so last thing you want to do is beat yourself. So we got to clean that up a little bit, and I think we'll be all right.
Chris, thank you.
Of course, man. I appreciate it.
Cheers, man. That was great stuff.
Got you.
Cheers.
Chris, Ottawa's kind of in a similar situation. Oh, sorry. Ottawa's kind of in a similar situation as you guys, probably better than what the record would indicate. What are you expecting on Friday?
Well, I mean, they're a good football team. They've had a tough schedule as well. You know, they've had, a pretty tough scheduling deal throughout the first part of the year, and they've been in some very tight games. And they're very well coached on all three phases, and they've got good personnel. So, I mean, we're going to go over there and do what we've got to try to do to win a professional football game.
From the moment Taylor Cornelius arrived, we knew that he could throw the ball. We weren't quite certain of his running ability. Now we know that he can do both. What does he need to do to become kind of a complete player and a leader in this league, do you think?
I think decision making, he's a little bit caught in between at times. You know, he's got the ability to either turn the ball loose or to run it. And if you're confused in this league, which again, you got good defensive coordinators and good defensive personnel, if you have to move around in order to get us, 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, then you do that. And I thought in the first half the other night he was pretty assertive in his running, and then in the second half he was a little bit more cautious to go ahead and take him off and try to just make them defend him.
What's it like working with him? Is he coachable? Is he receptive to some of the
Oh, yeah.
ideas? He's a smart guy by the sounds of
Oh,
things,
yeah.
and what we've talked to him.
Yeah.
How is he receptive to?
Oh
some
yeah,
of the ideas?
he's very receptive. I mean, he's he's a high character kid, and he's he listens to everything you tell him, and now it's just a matter of him taking it to the football field.
And the running game, he's helping propel that now too. What does that do for your offense
Yeah.
in the long run?
Well, in this league again, you've got the the run Sally game, and it's something that we can do with him because of his ability to run, and it helps your protection as well.
Just a quick question about going in against Nick Arbuckle, and a guy you've got familiarity with, expecting his best performance against the team that let him go earlier this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pro. I mean, he's been around this league, been with a few teams, and so he's a guy that prepares extremely well. And if we get that opportunity to compete against him, we expect to get his A game.
And I wonder if you can articulate just how a mobile quarterback may open up avenues in your own run game with the running backs.
Yeah, like we just mentioned earlier, I mean, the opportunity to either run or pass based off of what they give you, it allows a running quarterback or a guy that's mobile to get out on the perimeter and use that both in the run and the pass game. So it helps your protection.
Can we talk a little bit about discipline? And it's not that this team is undisciplined. It seems like the timing of the penalties are, the timing's never good.
Well, I mean, anytime you take a penalty, it's bad. I mean, this past game we had some very poor penalties. We played a team that's very highly penalized, and we kind of matched them as far as with our the decision making, and we've got to do a better job of being smart and playing winning football.
Well, it seems like you have a good character group.
We do.
What does it take to kind of keep that mindset that we can't retaliate, or we can't trash talk, or we can't do something after the whistle?
Yeah, I don't think we've been called for trash talking. And I think we did have a retaliation, but on film it wasn't necessarily a retaliation. It was more of just two guys tangled up, and unfortunately we got called. So it's one of those deals where we've got good high character kids, and we've just got to get smarter.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
Good luck
thank you.
Friday.
Yeah, of course, Sean. Huh?